Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Diamond podcast. You
We're
got,
back. We're back.
you got
Back.
Des there, you got Josh here. Brian is somewhere.
At the 790 studio, I believe.
Yeah, I think he's working. Um, so we're here. We're here to talk Astros ball. Dana Brown is at the GM meetings saying some things, and we're going to go over what he's been saying.
Yeah, we have some video. Ari Alexander posted. We'll go over that here in a bit. But some other housekeeping notes. The Astros had to get their 40-man in order. And there were some faces that
some legends gone.
that are no longer with the Astros. Penn Murphy just claimed off waivers to the Chicago White Sox. Trey Cabbage heads to the Pirates.
Trey.
It's our guy. Seth Martinez heads back to the desert. And Jose Urquidy.
How'd you say it?
I'm not playing that game.
On his last, his exit from the Astros, you still can't get it right. That's okay.
Is non-tendered.
Urquidy
That
gone.
was the Jose Urquidy stuff was kind of we said that they were gonna try to get creative with their payroll, and that's the dark side of the business. He wasn't gonna play this year, most likely, and that was a contract that the Astros decided to get rid of. And man, most World Series wins by a foreign-born pitcher, I believe.
Yeah, definitely by
a Mexican national player. Man, kind of sucks. I mean, just like we just haven't been able to see him. Like he's been hurt.
I could definitely see a world where he could come back, but
yeah, I think they get him on a cheap 2-year deal.
Plenty of
There's plenty of baseball.
Yeah, he's got plenty of career left ahead of him, especially the way he pitches. I don't think injuries are going to be a career problem for him. I think this was just a thing that happened. But the way he pitches, I could see him being like a Kyle Hendricks.
Still play forever.
36. So he's been going for a while. Just won't be with the Astros for now.
Yeah, I could see him coming back though on a cheap deal.
I could see that too. But I mean, if you're Jim Crane, you're looking to upgrade your roster, and then you're like this $4 million. What was it? $4 million?
3.4, I think. 3.4.
3.4. You see that, and you're like, this could make or break the difference between signing a big free agent or bringing back Alex Bregman. It's like it's kind of an easy decision to make. It's frustrating, I'm sure, for Jose, but the business is the business.
Yeah, it's nasty sometimes. Astros also trade for Taylor Trammell, who won a World Series. He was on the Dodgers and the Yankees this year. So
was he really?
Yeah, he was like. I love like those random facts that just pop up in October. It's just like this player's gonna get a ring. Like when you're kind of disconnected.
We finally broke the Will Smith curse this year.
No, Will Smith, the Dodgers.
Oh,
the Will Smith name continues.
Oh,
So if Dana Brown wants to bring a ring to Houston, he needs to go get the actual Will Smith to be a consultant for the Houston Astros.
One-day contract.
The 26 man is Will Smith.
Damn, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, so the Will Smith name continues.
World Series 5 years in a row.
4
since the Braves in 21 at least. Was he on the 20?
21, 22, 23, 24. So Will Smith has won 4 World Series.
That's crazy.
I see Michelle's the Ryan Presley question. Yeah, I mean when Chandler writes, I definitely read and listen.
Yeah, he's not writing that. He's not throwing out theories or new. If he's writing about that, then it is a real consideration in the front office.
If Chandler is writing something, he's on it. And yeah, I think that's a move you can. Like could be made, I guess. It's going to be a interesting decision. That's a lot of money.
I think he is him and potentially like a Framber are your 2 biggest trade chips if you're going to trade from, trade contract and from a place of strength. That's where you would trade from. I would be happy and okay if we went into next season and the big arms in the bullpen were Abreu than Hader. Like
Yeah.
that's winnable. I mean, the Astros won a World Series with only what was it? It was Abreu in the 8th and Presley in the 9th and
Yeah.
22. Most bullpens have a strong 1-2. You know, the Astros tried to set up a strong 1-2-3, and it didn't even actually work. So, so it's one of those things.
There was moments. There was moments.
But it's one of those things where I think
it was clunky.
He does have a no trade clause, but I think if you tell Ryan Presley, "Hey, we're going to trade you to the Orioles, and you're going to be their closer, like you're going to be a closer on a potential 100-win team next year," I don't think he's waiving that. I think he deserves it. I mean, Ryan Presley was a closer for a World Series winning team
for a dominant stretch for this whole entire golden era. He was dominant,
and then he kind of got pushed into that Steadman row, and I think he handled it with grace.
Oh, for sure.
At the same time, was a little.
Oh yeah, you're gonna anytime a team brings in someone to replace you and pay that amount of money too, on a human level, you're definitely gonna be perturbed.
Yeah. Wow.
Like that word. Yeah. Perturbed. Like that pool? That was a good pool right there. I think the other side too. I mean, the guys are all the guys are ultra competitors. And it's not like, okay, I'm pitching the 8th, I'm gonna phone it up. Like, no, you're gonna compete at a very, very high level. So and if he's still here next year, you still have a guy that's been dominant his entire run here outside of, last year's up and down year, which still, when you zoom out, it wasn't a bad year.
No, it wasn't awful.
It was just bad moments that kind of were always on the forefront. And so I think it's interesting because the Astros feel like they're at a crossroads, and it feels like if Vegas were to like put odds on it, like it's like I almost feel split of like they run it back with Breggy resign, or it's a totally different looking team that's going to be powered by pitching and like a very Tampa Seattle mold for a year.
I mean, yeah, there's a world where this offseason Presley gets traded, Framber gets traded, Bregman doesn't re-sign, and in those trades you have one or two impact bats that make your offense look completely different. Bregman's not there. You have your 1 through 5 is replaced 40%, and I guess Hunter Brown is your ace next year. Like, there's a world where you go in the next year with a totally different team than you had last year, and whether that's for better or worse, like it could happen. I don't know if I'm championing for any specific trade to happen, but I think it is smart to trade from places of strength currently to shore up, another offensive bat, to be able to move some money around to be able to bring Bregman back. I mean, there's moves to be made. This what's the verbiage Dana keeps using? Creative. You have to get creative.
You gotta get creative.
Which it's true. I mean,
no, you have to.
There's things you can do, but it's slim margins of what you can actually accomplish.
Do you know what the K9 was for Ryan Presley in 2022?
In 22? What was it this year? Tell me, and then I can go off.
9.2.
Okay, so 22, 11.5.
12.1.
Nice.
Okay, this is a little.
El Memo doesn't sound too bad. Look at what the Royals did and the Guardians too. Yeah, I mean, they continue to. Yeah, the Astros are kind of in between. There's the big teams, and then there's the little teams that have to be extra creative. The Astros are in between where they can make some big moves, but they're obviously not going to sign Soto for $700 million or whatever. So they're kind of in that.
I would give Soto $701 million.
But like they're on that, which you can argue Jim Crane's a billionaire. So like he should be competing, but he tries to be smart with it.
Well, I feel like the Astros just at a crossroad of identity in the fact of, okay, if you move on from Breggs, and obviously you're closing the book on this run. Not saying that the window's closed, but this book is written, so we're on to book 2.
Yeah.
Or you keep it going, and I think there's a lot of. I'm more bullish on 2026 because you have so much money off the books, and you can really
to what David Clemens said here. Speaking of money crunch, That's mostly this year. Next year, you'll have 30 million dead money off the books.
Yeah,
So,
which is
like,
huge.
yeah.
And so you can, I think the GM speak of the creativity. Obviously, I mean, all of us with laptops and smartphones, we can easily go to Spot Track and see.
Yeah, we're
the
calculating over here.
we can see what it really is. And so I think the big thing, it's almost just like eat your medicine, take your medicine this year in 25, and the team can still win. I mean, yeah, they went 2 in a barbecue, but I would still give this team a fighting chance next year with what they're bringing back. So it's like 25, just kind of hang around the rim and hopefully you get hot and you can compete. But 26, I mean, it's like, okay, like we have a lot of money to spend. Like obviously there's, you're going to do Tucker, whatever it's going to be. But if 120 million opens up on the books, like hell yeah, brother. So,
and I think that's it. If they do work out a deal with Bregman, it's going to be we keep saying mid-loaded. I think it'll be mid to back-loaded contract. I think if they do work out a deal with Scott for Bregman, it'll be like, hey, we're going to give you like 15 million this year, but don't worry about it. Next year in the year, you'll get like 40 like to make out for it. A lot of questions about McCullers, a lot of statements on McCullers. I think everybody, including Lance, is probably frustrated with how his past year and a half has gone.
He's going to play next year.
I think so. I think I don't. My hot take is that I don't think he is a starter for the rest of his career.
That's a take.
I think if he's gonna play regularly, he's either gonna come back and try and start and get hurt again, and at some point, or take it easy and be more of a bullpen guy, be more of a Hector Neris type role. And that's a lot, and that's hard to do because of what he's getting paid. So I don't know if that's just my hot take.
Yeah.
But I do think he is going to pitch in 2025 towards the end of the year.
Damn, sorry, 2025. Crazy.
But I just got Boris walked into a church and catches in the flames. I bet. Yeah. No, I mean, we've said it multiple times. This year is huge for Scott Boras and all of his clients. So does Scott, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
I think he's a Met.
I do too.
I don't think Cohen's gonna be like, we're not leaving this room until. It's like the Office episode where Dwight bids a penny over every bid.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna be Cohen, but with another 50 million.
Yeah. I mean, what did he spend? 150 million on a rabbit
statue, glass rabbit for his house.
I mean, he's gonna just be like, yeah, oh, Soto, this team's offering this, and I can offer like 50 million more and get him. He was.
There was a story of Cohen that he was trying to buy a house in somewhere in the Northeast, and he was bidding against another 100 billionaire guy, and they were in the same neighborhood of the asking price. And Cohen was like, "Hey, let's flip for it. Let's flip for." He's like $1 million. Whoever wins on the flip puts the million over, and that's what happens. And the guy refused. He's like, "No, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this." So Cohen then put a bid in for 50 million over the price to get the house. Yeah, that's. I mean, what's the point of fuck? What's the point of fuck you money if you don't say fuck you?
Exactly. But also, like on that guy, like, be a legend.
Yeah.
Flip it. Flip for it. Story. Like, how'd you get this house? I want it in a flip.
Flip for it.
Oh, I also paid a bunch of money, but I want it in a flip.
I guess the real question is going to be just kind of how creative this team wants to get. I mean, if they move the lefty starting pitcher, I could see that.
I think,
but if you move the right fielder, I just think you're gonna have.
Fielder. Oh my God, no, that's a problem.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that could be a reality.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's reality.
If you move one, why? I mean, you're gonna move two.
Well, I think in hierarchy of potential moves, I think Presley's probably, as far as like big names being traded from the Astros, Presley's most likely.
Yes.
Framber's second most likely, and Tucker is
way down.
But compared to those two. But I mean, honestly, if you're gonna do one, do all three. Fucking get yourself
you see, I don't know, man. I'm more just pay the person that you already know, like the talent that's already there. Like
prospects.
Look how many times when you take all the prospects that we've traded.
Yeah,
we've won. Two? We've won. I mean, it took the catcher Rogers a decade to get up, and obviously it was kind of poetic that he was the one that put the knife on our back.
Yeah.
But we won every Verlander trade.
Yeah,
I mean, outside of probably Clifford.
I think the one that hurts the most right now is Willie Abreu.
Yeah,
and that was like you won a World Series.
You won a World Series. I mean, obviously Tiescar won too, but like we didn't. I don't think anyone knew Hernandez was going to be what he is today. Like,
I mean, he's on the JD Martinez level of like he wasn't showing that potential when he was here, and then things happen. But,
yeah. I think the other side too, like David's right over there. When you trade Tucker, you're trying to hope to find a younger Tucker. Like you have Tucker at home. You have Kyle Tucker at home.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with especially with bats. I feel like I trust the Astros a lot more to be able to mold a pitching prospect into being something great than I do a bat.
But you know what?
I would rather trade a top, like one of the Astros' top pitchers for pitching prospects than I would a bat for batting prospects, because they don't develop bats like that.
You know what worries me is going back to the crossroads theme. You have a GM that has been a scout and been in baseball forever, right? Is there a sense of like I could trade a Kyle Tucker because I think I can find two Kyle Tucker
there?
Yeah, like because
I know what I'm doing.
Not in that level, but like you trust your scout's eye so much that you're like, we can do this.
Yeah.
But there's perception, there's reality.
Yeah, well, no, the other thing is like, sure, you could do that, but like, if you're going off of scouting an unknown talent, that means there's somebody that's young and somebody that's not going to be at Tucker's level for 3-4 years. So like
I would lose
Tucker's gone next year. So that gives you.
I would lose it. I mean, just pay both of them.
Pay both of them. Trade who you need to trade outside of them. Make it happen. Let's so we're gonna watch some clips from Ari Alexander posted.
Yeah, Ari Alexander was in San Antonio. He got some great footage. And we have it up, and I love Dana, but his poker face isn't there. Every single time he's saying something, I'm taking that as 100%. But I did like the mentality, and I guess we'll see the clip of what he said about Breggs, right? So
y'all let us know if this is too loud.
Let us know. Let us know about the audio.
We're going to listen to. He's talking about Bregman here. Then he goes into Jake Myers, Chas McCormick talk, and then I have a clip at the end of him talking to MLB Network about just everything overall. So, yeah, but let's listen to what Dana has to say.
Yeah, we've had a lot of discussions with Scott Boras, multiple conversations. So we hope that they've been productive, and we're hoping that some good things happen.
Do you feel like you have a decent chance?
I think we have a really good chance. Our mindset right now is that he's not going elsewhere. We want to sign him. So
that's a bar.
If he ends up going elsewhere, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I'm going into this offseason with the thought process that we're going to get Bregman done. Hopefully, we can do it. And as I said, the conversations with Scott have been productive. That as well.
So his mindset is that Bregman's not going anywhere.
Correct.
How much do you believe? Where are you at right now, percentage-wise?
Staying on theme of this week, I'm going to say it's too early to call. That was good. We should actually do a bit of like how they do that. Yeah. Like we zoom in here in this county.
We're now changing it from too early to call to too close.
Too close to call. I feel 50-50, man. I really do. I just for some reason, I sent like, you know what? Hold on. I sent this to someone in the know, of my thoughts. Someone that literally is plugged in and asked for just my opinion. And I go, this is what I said. When it comes down to it, I think they're gonna. This is me saying this. I think they're gonna get a 6-year high AAV that appeases both parties. I say Crane is a businessman who acts on emotion sometimes. He's not gonna lose a golden goose. I think in theory we've seen that with Justin Verlander.
Yeah.
I just think that with no succession plan and no, it'd be different. There was 4 young guys out there. Like
It'd be different.
Alex
if you had,
Bregman
like,
is the market.
Yeah, if you had a top third base prospect.
Today I'd put it still 50-50. But if you asked me last year in February, I would say like 1%. So
If you asked me in July this year,
Yeah.
I would have said 10% max. Yeah. So I mean, we'll see as it goes along. I think I do think it happens sooner than we thought last week.
Do you think Alex Bregman knows where he's playing in 2025 by Thanksgiving?
I think so.
Ooh.
I don't know if we know. As
Okay.
the public, but I think he's gonna be close to a decision in about like 2 weeks. If they're already having discussions, if they're already like clear, like they're having, sounds like very open discussions with the Astros.
Why am I so optimistic? I'm never optimistic.
I know.
Why am I so optimistic? It's gonna hit like crack cocaine in the 80s. That post if he's coming back.
Welcome back. Two is back.
Oh, welcome
Welcome back.
welcome back.
Soto going to the Mets scares me because Yankees could get desperate. That is a good point. If Soto signs first with like the Mets, he said Soto to the Mets. Soto signs first with the Mets. Maybe the Yankees get desperate and they give Alex the
That's giving Hal Steinbrenner way too much credit.
That's true. That's valid. I don't know if any other team, maybe the Yankees is the only one, that like other teams that value and see the value in what Bregman's been doing, like the intangibles.
Shit,
Like,
I mean,
I think only teams that have been in the postseason recently, especially teams that have faced the Astros, I think they are the only ones that really get it, who have seen it in person, like the impact he makes on the field.
Oh, for sure. And I think every team,
that.
any team that gets an Alex Bregman that's not the Astros are going to realize, oh my God, look how much more value we got on top.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know how many teams recognize that.
No, I don't think you know until you're in the chef's kitchen.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, what's stopping Cohen just with Soto? What if he goes after Bregman too?
Jesus, I mean, he could.
He could. But think about it. I think I have something. I actually just finally came back to me. I said it like on Wednesday. I didn't write it down, but it finally came back to me. I think right now, back to the Crossroads theme, we are in this arms race in Major League Baseball where you have these teams trying to go out and paying whatever amount to get these superstars in to compete with LA. LA just showed, hey, we are spending money, we deferred money, and we're going to maximize this window. Cohen on the East Coast is over there he's just like, oh, okay. Yeah. I'll match a power for power. I have a ton of money.
He's a wild card.
So if we're doing this, right, all these teams are doing this, you can't get caught polishing your trophies. And I kind of feel oh shit, I remember that. Oh yeah. When there's a whole arms race going on over here.
Get caught flat-footed.
So it just feels like if you want to make a statement, you keep your superstar that you cultivated.
Yeah.
And you pay him.
Yeah.
Because this arms race is happening all around you, and you can't get caught looking at trophies when everyone else is gearing up. Because then you get beat in 5 games.
Don't like the timing of that mechanical laugh in the background when he said they've had productive combos with Scott. That's funny. That was good, Sheldon. David Collins has a good point. Alonso over Breggs for Cohen, which I could see that.
Yeah.
Like if he's gonna get Soto plus another big name, I think it would be Alonso before it's Bregman. But unless Alonso signs somewhere else first.
Well, I think Alonso saved himself with his October.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know if you grade in October for a free agent.
If Bregman goes to like the Mets, he would play second.
No, he'll play third. They move Vientos to first.
Oh, okay. What if he got all three?
I mean, he could. I feel like Cohen,
Vientos, Lindor, Bregman, Alonso.
We'll see how all-star.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, also, the Dodgers just said Mookie's going back to second base.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Who's playing right field? Who's playing right field for the Dodgers?
Why did they say that?
Why did you say that? You're not.
Yeah, that is a good point. What's the plan there? I don't know their bench that well, but they had Kiermaier and Chris Taylor on their bench for half the season, so I don't know what their outfield looks like because neither of those guys are starting.
There's an arms race happening. This is the middle of the Cold War. We're looking at American Revolutionary fucking artifacts is what it's happening.
All right, let's get into Jake Myers, Chris, fucking Chas McCormick talk. Talking about Chris Taylor.
You mentioned Myers and McCormick, so you anticipate tendering both those guys' contract?
Yeah, I mean, look, McCormick had a down year. You know, McCormick is a good player. We expect him to come back and at least, get to like a 750 OPS or better. The year before, he was over an 800 OPS with over 20 home runs, and of course, the defense is really good. So, we have to check that one off as a bad year. It was a down year, and hopefully we can get him to bounce back because we really need him. And then maybe we can get him, some help where he doesn't have to face, all of the right-handers as much. I mean, that could be productive by getting a left-handed hitting outfielder that could really step in and do a good job. So
Michael Brantley's not walking through that door.
To improve this club and maybe at certain points do some platoon. Particularly if he's struggling. But ultimately, we're just trying to make certain moves to increase, more production in the offense. So the biggest priority is third base, without a doubt. We would love to have Alex Bregman back. It's our biggest priority. So, and if we could, do something to firm up, production at first base and, get some help in the outfield, maybe with a nice nice left-hand bat. To work out with Myers and McCormick. That would be good as well. And then maybe add some more depth to the bullpen. And as I've always told you guys, I'm always in the market for starters. So if we have any opportunity to acquire starters,
this is me when I'm like 13 or 12.
In terms of opportunity, depth chart leash,
I'm like,
I
want a scooter. I want the PlayStation. I want this. And I want this. And they're like,
you're not gonna get all that, dude.
You have your Sega Dreamcast at home.
Yeah.
Chas above Myers.
This is interesting.
Yeah, Chas is a more proven bat. Myers is a more proven defender, although Chas is a pretty good defender. He can play all three outfield positions. And so, in terms of the best combination of hit and defense, I would say McCormick's ahead of him. He's shown it. The over 850, the over 850 OPS or whatever it was, between 800 and 850, and the 22 home runs that he hit in 2023, that's a pretty good player. It was above average to plus defense with those kind of numbers offensively. That's a really good player. We didn't get that last year, right? We know that could come back. Right there toward the end of the season, he started to swing the bat a little bit better. But, of course, the season ended pretty quickly. So, but I would say he's more of a total package, whereas Myers...
Why did it end quickly?
What happened?
Why did it end quickly? 842 OPS in 2023 for Chas McCormick. Also, just taking Dana for what we've seen. His comments there about Chas, which I think are true, definitely feels like that's hey guys, like, you want this guy?
Yeah, you think he's propping him up a little bit? I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't trade one of them.
I mean, I don't think you can right now.
Well, yeah, I guess caveat that with if you get a left-handed strong, like a decent left-handed outfielder bat, why you don't need all three?
Okay, so in 23, a 3.6 WAR, 842 OPS. In 2022, a 1.3 WAR, 738 OPS. In 2021, a 2.3 WAR, a 766 OPS for Chas McCormick. Last year, 94 games, a 576 OPS.
I think he was injured all year.
I think he was too, with a minus 0.6.
What did he eventually go on the? What did he eventually go on the IL for? Was it back? Because we were saying early in the year when he was struggling, I think you first mentioned it, and I was like, oh yeah, it seemed like his back was affecting him.
Yeah.
I think Dana's right in that.
I mean,
Chas can come back and have at least a 750 OPS.
Sure.
And play plus defense. So, I mean, in my mind, it's like if you have Chas playing at that level in center field, and you just want to pair him with a strong left-handed outfield bat, and you have a guy like Jacob Melton waiting in the wings, you have some other outfield prospects, why wouldn't you try to, if somebody comes around asking about Jake Myers, and it's a good deal, like, you take it.
Also, I think the other side too is the returning back to the mean the other way. Positive regression to the mean.
Yeah.
That turns around. I mean, I would say Altuve had a down year, so he turns back around. Hopefully, everything that was down this year turns up next year. You have the pitching, you're in a good spot. So, interesting.
Right, let's end it off with MLB Network talking to Dana, and this kind of encompasses all of this. They touch on multiple different points. So we'll watch this, and then we'll give our final thoughts before we end the stream out as soon as my mouse starts working.
Hi, Dana Brown of the Houston Astros. And Dana, Alex Bregman, you give him the QO. How do you see that unfolding here in the weeks ahead?
I mean, we've had multiple conversations with Scott Boras. So, Alex has been great for this organization. We would love for him to stay here. We feel like, there's a good chance we're going to get something done. And so the conversations back and forth with Scott have been quite interesting. So we're optimistic.
Quite interesting.
How flexible are you in terms of opt-outs, deferred money, a lot of different ways to make a deal get done?
It's Scott Bregman. Alex Bregman and Scott Boras. You're going
a lot of flubs
back and forth with both of those guys. We want them here. So, we'll try to make whatever adjustments we have to make that are fair to both him and our club. But, ultimately, we'd like to get him done and keep him here in Houston. We feel like he's a big part of what we've done here. And he's been a big piece of what we've done here. So, ultimately, we hope to get it done.
In terms of additional priorities, Kyle Tucker, extension, where do things stand there?
Yeah, I've talked to Casey Close as well. We've gone back and forth. Of course, we have the full year to get it done, because he's locked up to 2025.
I didn't like that at all.
Another guy that's had a great career here, been a big part of all the winning here in Houston.
Kyle Tucker.
And, at some point, we hope to narrow some things down and have some more conversations. But we've definitely had multiple conversations with, Casey Close.
Yusei Kikuchi made a great impact on your club from the trade deadline
forward.
Did. Dana, how active have things been in terms of your conversations about bringing him back as well?
Well, that's part of our Scott Boras conversation as well. Kikuchi's time in Houston was really, really good. And so, we would be excited to have him back as well. That would be a nice piece to add to our rotation. And so, talking with Scott, we're going to try.
What's your
sense of where Justin Verlander's plans are entering 2025?
I'm talking to Mark Pieper today, so we'll know a little bit more about that. But again, JV's time here in Houston's been outstanding. Been a big part of the winning tradition here, and so
if Verlander's
talk with Mark and
contract
probably
comes
know a little bit more later about that.
Is in the same neighborhood of Kikuchi, I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah, no, it should. Yeah, it shouldn't be.
Oh,
It's time to, I love JV.
I love JV.
He should go in the Hall of Fame as an Astro. He probably won't, but
Interesting.
Kikuchi should be a way bigger priority.
Oh man, Crossroads, baby.
So I do want to touch on a few of those things he talked about. With Kyle Tucker, I think if he enters free agency like Bregman is right now, he's not coming back.
Yeah, that's a fair take.
I think an extension has to be done. And my hot take is if Bregman doesn't come back, Tucker gets an extension before spring training. I think it's something where
hey, we gotta get people happy again.
Yeah,
we gotta get.
And also I think it was always one or the other, unfortunately. And I think they're trying to bring Bregman back in a way that they can have both for at least this year. But if Bregman doesn't happen, I think they talk to Casey Close and they work out a deal where obviously it's more backloaded, or at least not this year, where they're like, let's settle your ARB for this year at a good number, and then your contract really starts next year or whatever. And then he also mentioned, he's mentioned a lot of things, but he mentioned outfield, left-handed bats. He mentioned bullpen. He mentioned starters. I think if you get Kikuchi, that's all you need.
Yeah, I think the pitching next year is gonna be pretty dominant.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned David Clemens talked about Luis Garcia from the Nats and then Nico Horner from the Cubs. I kind of like both those. I like Nico Horner idea.
Yeah, I feel like this offense needs power. This needs an influx of power. The contact is great.
You know who could be that?
Juan Soto,
Pistol Pete,
Alonso. Yeah, it makes sense.
It
makes sense.
He's that bopper that you kind of need in the lineup. You need a guy that can come up with a runner on first and 2 outs in the ninth, and you're down by 2, and he has the
smack one the other way.
Yeah,
rip the whole city's hearts out.
Yeah, that's the guy they're missing. Obviously, you have your Don who does that, but everybody else in the lineup is more of a contact, get on base guy.
You need some ISO, baby.
Yeah, you need ISO.
We need some ISO in this lineup.
All right, I think that's going to do it for us today.
Yeah.
Just doing a short. We're going to keep doing these every Friday in the off season. Sometimes there's going to be not a whole lot to talk about, but
sometimes it'd be like that.
But we're going to keep them going, and obviously, if any big news happens, we'll hop on immediately and talk about that, or at least one of us will, or somebody will. But yeah.
Yeah, that's it for the Friday live show. Shout out to Big City Wings, Houston's Wing Joint, Apollo's Wing Joint. Kobe Stevens will be out there on Monday for the golf tournament. If you haven't, go to their website, sign up. The Alto Rideshare, our codes are in the description. And other than that, y'all have a good weekend. And if you're in Austin, let me know.
You gonna be Austin?
I'll be in Austin. I'm driving up in the morning.
Who are they playing?
Florida.
Oh, like University of Florida? That's gonna be good.
Good game. 11 a.m.
Florida's lost?
They're on their third. Yeah, they're 4-4.
Oh, I'm thinking of.
But they've lost to Georgia, A&M, LSU. They lost
I know they're decent, but
should be fun.
That'll be good. All right. Well, I think the guys will be back with some football pod Monday. Probably recap this Sunday night
game. Yeah.
And we have a lot more content coming up in this next month. We got a lot of plans going, so stay tuned, subscribe, all that.
Shout out to Ari and MLB Network for the video footage that we used today. And
we'll see you next time.